Good afternoon. I'm Vice Chair Ken Kerr, and this is the Government Operations and Ethics Subcommittee of the Government, Labor, and Elections Committee. We have a work session here today on March the 4th. We're going to consider 5 bills. Things should go pretty quickly. And we are joined by Tyler Babbage, Committee Counsel, who will help us remind us about the bills and answer any questions. We'll consider the bills in the order in which they were posted on the MGA website, beginning with 1578, 1333, 861, 954, and then 160. Let's begin with House Bill 1578. Tyler, please remind us about the bill.
House Bill 1578 is the Minority Business Enterprise Program Renewal Bill or reauthorization. So it extends the termination date from 2026 to 2031, makes a handful of concomitant changes, and then also establishes quarterly reporting requirements for the Office of Small Minority and Women Business Affairs, requires the office to develop new regulations about small business certification, and amends the definition of small business to include joint ventures.
And this was a bill where the secretary came and testified there was no opposition. It's a departmental bill. Do I hear a motion to move favorably?
Move favorable.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on this bill? It's pretty straightforward. I don't see any discussion on the bill. Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of sending House Bill 1578 to the full committee with a favorable recommendation of the subcommittee, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Any opposed? All right, thank you. We'll move that bill along to the full committee. 1333, this is Delegate Bandari's. Go ahead, Tyler.
House Bill 1333 would establish the Maryland Law Enforcement Public Service Medal to be awarded to law enforcement officers who demonstrate exceptional public service, valor, and heroism. And the bill specifies that the first round of recipients would be 5 officers who responded to the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse.
And this was a bill that passed out of the House last year, but stalled in the Senate, probably due to the lateness of the crossover. Delegate Bandari, anything you'd like to say about your bill? Guess Delegate Bandari hasn't returned to his office yet. Do I hear a favorable motion on the bill?
Move favorable. Favorable.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the bill? I'll call for a vote then. All in favor of sending House Bill 1333 to the full committee with the favorable recommendation of the subcommittee, say aye. And
Aye.
anyone opposed? Seeing no opposition, we will move House Bill 1333 to the full committee with our favorable recommendation. House Bill 861.
House Bill 861 would require the Department of Information Technology to post any updates to the statewide information technology master plan within 6 months of a governor's inauguration, require sending notice of that, or if the new plan will be delayed, sending a notice of the delay to the General Assembly. There were some amendments offered by the sponsor that were sent around. I will try and pull them up now, but they just move the deadline from 6 months after inauguration to 1 year after inauguration. Adds a reporting requirement, so the Secretary of Information Technology will have to come and present on the revised plan to the General Assembly, and it also adds co-sponsors.
And the amendment was adopted in the Senate and it passed second read over there today. Do I hear a motion to adopt the amendments?
I move
So move. Second.
favorable to amendment.
Okay. All in favor of adopting the amendments, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition to adopting the amendments? Okay, the amendments have been adopted. On the bill as amended?
I move favorable with amended.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Delegate Chisholm.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if I remember this bill in detail, but from my notes, regulates transportation network companies such as Uber and Lyft by requiring them to provide drivers with more transparency about earnings and report operational data to the state. I'm assuming that Uber and Lyft did not testify on this bill, and do we know how this is going to affect them?
Where is that? Which page?
I don't know if it. My staff's pretty good at creating notes for me with who else this could add,
Okay,
and it might
this is-
Uber and Lyft might not be in there, but I'm curious if
No, this is a Department of Information Technology Master Plan report. House
I
Bill
got that.
861.
Okay, so if Uber and Lyft aren't, I don't know why this ended up on my summary, but
No, I think maybe it was mistaken for Senate Bill 861.
That was
Okay.
actually my bill from last year.
Okay. Oh, I see. 861 was your bill from last year that had
Yep.
Uber and Lyft in it?
Yep.
Okay, they just looked at the wrong legislative year.
okay, so they're not included. All right, good.
No, we should be
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Delegate Stewart, for sorting us out there. Okay, the amendments have been adopted, and we have a motion and a second to pass this bill along to the full committee with a favorable report of the subcommittee. Okay, we had discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposition to this bill? All right, unanimously recommended to the full committee. 954. This is Delegate Adams.
Hello.
Oh, Tyler, you're muted.
My apologies. House Bill 954 is state finance and procurement retention proceeds. It would just require that any undisputed retention proceeds on a state construction contract being retained by a state agency or contractor be paid within 90 days after substantial completion of a project, as opposed to total completion of a project.
Do I hear a motion on this bill?
Motion to move the bill.
Okay,
Second.
all right, motion and a second. Discussion. Delegate Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I remember reading the letter from the Department of Transportation, and their problem with it, they were unfavorable. And the problem they cited was that it seemed like they wanted the 90-day period to be after the final completion of the project rather than the substantial completion of the project, because they said, quote unquote, this could lead to payment of the retainage prior to the completion of the quote unquote punch list for a project, or the list of items the parties agree must be addressed by the contractor once the site is operational, but before a project is considered complete. While the items on the punch list are often minor, they can include rework items.
Yeah, a punch list is post substantial completion.
Correct.
I asked Delegate Adams to be here today to explain that very issue. Delegate Adams, do you want to take this?
Sure, absolutely. So in the hearing, I brought up that we had passed this bill under the real property article, so for private contracts. And the definition of retainage is those monies that are earned, work that's been done, but not yet paid for the benefit of the owner. So when I read MDOT's letter, and I brought it up during the hearing, there seems to be a general misunderstanding of what retention is, but that's what my bill is here to do. It's to put in a start to the clock that needs to occur before the retainage gets paid. So to your point, Delegate, I brought up current law in a procurement article and shared with the committee that for retainage, the contractor and subcontractors have to produce a 100% performance payment bond, that the owner can withhold any monies up to and including the entirety of the contract if they deem it in the best interest of the owner to do so, or in any percentage that they're willing to do so. So my position on this is, for those jobs that have been complete, where there is no dispute over the work being completed, that at that point in time, the retainage clock starts. MDOT is saying something a little nuanced in that they deem retainage as something like incentive or bonuses, and frankly, that's not what this is. Retainage is money that's earned. Punch list, in my opinion, is not what you and I would deem to be earned. That's not the same conversation. So, my personal experience, when we get a punch list, that's still work that needs to be completed, and that's part of it. Retainage is here for, let's say, for example, you turn on the HVAC equipment, as I mentioned during the hearing, and after, say, 30 days or 45 days, hey, all of a sudden, one floor in my building is not conditioned properly. Well, you're holding that retainage after occupancy for the purpose of making sure that you're made whole. So in my flooring world, the same or similar thing occurs. Your warranty period starts at the date of substantial completion. And let's say 60 days after the work's complete, something needs to be fixed. Well, that's part of what the retainage is being held for. So I would just encourage the committee to consider that currently under law, there is no real reason for the owner, in this case, the state agencies, to start the clock. And we're just asking for those items that are not disputed, including the things that MDOT's talking about. If those are not disputed items, that at that point in time, the 90-day clock needs to start. That's all the bill's trying to do.
Delegate Chisholm.
Mr. Chair, and to Delegate Adams, just for clarification purposes, so in your scenario, if 45 days later or 60 days later after the clock had started, that HVAC goes up, the contractor or subcontractors can't just say, well, screw you, I'm just going to wait this out for another 30 days and I'm not going to fix what you think I need to fix, and you guys are going to have to cut me a check. It doesn't work that way, correct? They still have that leverage.
That's correct. And again, Delegate Chisholm, let me just go back to current law under the retainage portion of this code, and that is to say that the owner can withhold any sums of money at their own discretion. So even, I would argue, even after the passage of this bill, if something happens after the clock starts, but yet something came up within that 90-day window, that the owner could easily say under what, and I don't have the book in front of me, but the point is they could hold money. We're talking about undisputed amounts, just regular work that's done, which includes the vast majority of work that happens with state agencies, that we do have retainage for a reason. We all acknowledge it's here, but acknowledge it with the context that we need to start the clock at some point in time. Delegate Chisholm, in years past, I brought this bill, and in some cases, we brought some of these business owners in as panel testimony, and you'll hear stories of money's not being paid 6, 9, even 9 months, even 1 year after the work's been complete. And I would think that the committee would find that untenable. So on these conflicts where there's problems, I proffer that this bill doesn't change the leverage position that the owner, and that is the state agency, has to withhold monies. I'm just simply saying that for the good of the order, let's at least set the clock and make it run at a date certain, and that's what this bill is trying to do.
And so, if I may, you would say a fair summary is it protects both the owner and the contractor and the subcontractors on both sides, but it gives some degree of certainty of when a contractor or subcontractor should be expecting money so they can then start to schedule out their own work going forward.
Right. That's correct.
And as Delegate Adams mentioned in the bill hearing, that the amount that's retained, it pretty much is the prime contractor's profit.
My position on this is that on competitive bids, by the time you pay the taxes, by the time you pay your overhead, your raw material and labor costs, that a contractor expects to earn around 5%. So this ends up being the bottom line, what flows through the bottom line profit that's being held for extended periods of time. So it's a problem with cash flow. This is a cash flow issue for small businesses, and testimony from different entities that would support a bill like this. This is more than just a good business practice. It's one that I think advances the interests of some of these contractors that do work for the state, that do have the advantages to engage with state agencies. So anyway, that's my soapbox.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of recommending House Bill 954 to the full committee, please indicate by saying aye. Raising-
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposition to this bill? Okay, thank you. We will move this bill along to the full committee for consideration. Final bill we want to talk about today is House Bill 160.
All good. It's all good. I'll find them. They're probably in the bottom of my purse.
Lehman, you're live.
One in the new one. No, you updated it. I don't know if I looked at number one. I don't know.
Delegate Lehman, there you go. Great.
House
Tyler,
Bill
please.
160 would prohibit the state or a unit of local government from assigning a Confederate name to real property. The bill only applies prospectively. It doesn't change any existing names. There were amendments sent in that I guess revise the definition of Confederate and make sure that one of the local units covered by the bill includes the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission.
Motion to adopt the amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to adopt the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
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 Opposition to the amendment? Okay, seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Delegate Tomlinson.
So, I'm sorry, Tyler, what did you say the amendment did again? I know I was a little late.
Sure. So the amendment does two things. One, it revises the definition of Confederate, and then it also makes sure that Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission is included as one of the political subdivisions. They were worried that they might have been left out by this list since they're a bi-county commission.
So what's the definition of Confederate now?
So now here it is. I'll zoom in a little if that helps, if it'll let me.
I can see it.
Okay. Yeah. Any name that commemorates or references any aspect of the states in rebellion operating as the Confederate States of America from 1861 to 1865, or any person or entity which served voluntarily with or on behalf of the Confederate States of America in any military or civilian capacity.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks.
Okay, Delegate Lehman.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think my question was answered. All I caught was something about Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. So the bi-county agency that owns a lot of parkland and historic buildings and properties in Prince George's and Montgomery just wants to be sure that it's included, through I guess, the definition of a political subdivision, it sounds like.
That is correct.
Okay, great. I'm good with that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Delegate Chisholm.
I'm assuming this is going forward, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Delegate Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to express my strong support for the bill with the amendments. I am a fifth generation Alabamian. I've got ancestors mostly who fought on the Confederate side, but a little bit on the Union side. I think it's a no-brainer to make sure that buildings going forward do not honor people who rebelled against the country and who by definition were traitors to the United States. So I'm going to be voting for the bill.
Okay, Delegate Lehman, your hand's still up. Legacy hand. Okay. I don't remember whether we moved the bill as amended. I don't think we did. Motion on the bill as amended.
Move the amendments.
We moved the amendments. Now the bill is amended.
I'll move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill as amended. All in favor of recommending House Bill 160 with a favorable report to the full committee, indicate by saying aye, raising your
Aye.
hand. Opposition to this bill. Okay, seeing none, we will move House Bill 160 to the full committee with a favorable report of the subcommittee. That completes our work today, everyone. Thanks for joining this bonus session of the Government Operations and Ethics Subcommittee. And I'll see you all in committee in about a half hour. All right, we're adjourned.
Great work, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Aye.